everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you all are enjoying the conference and the summit so far. This is an amazing opportunity, and I am so very thankful to be able to be involved and surrounded by so many amazing presenters and dynamic women as we embark on this multi-day endeavor. And I just want to say thank you to the curators and other presenters, and it truly is an honor to be involved and connected to you all as we forge ahead and really create this space for a lot of us that really need this and need to be seen and felt and heard. And I really just want to thank the organizers for creating this platform. So just to get into it, so good afternoon, evening, morning, what have you. My name is Natalie A. Solomon, and I am so honored to be here with you all today. I am a public health professional and a TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and the creator of the Secure Your Oxygen Mask First framework, which focuses on helping high-achieving women build success without sacrificing their health or their well-being. So today I want to talk about something that many women entrepreneurs are experiencing, but very few are talking about openly. And that is what happens when you're building something meaningful and at the same time navigating invisible challenges. So we're going to secure our oxygen mask first today as we look into building a business without burning out your body. And I know that definitely will resonate with a lot of us that are always going and going and going. So come on, and we're going to talk about what that looks like. So let me start with an opening question. How many of you are building your business while managing something no one else can see? Maybe it's chronic illness, maybe it's burnout, maybe it's caregiving responsibilities for an elderly parent, children, or just a loved one. Then there's hormonal health challenges. I know I'm going through menopause, and 0 stars, do not recommend. But, we all really, at the end of the day, are simply dealing with the emotional weight of holding so many roles at once. Whether we like to do it or want to do it, it still exists. So if that reason or those reasons really resonate with you, I want you to know something right away. You are not alone. There are quite a few of us out here dealing with that. And this conversation has really been curated and created for you. So most entrepreneurship advice was written for a very specific kind of person. Someone with unlimited energy, perfect health, and the ability to grind endlessly without consequence. How realistic is that? But that advice leaves out a very large group of women who are building remarkable businesses while navigating invisible battles every single day. While success culture assumes that we have unlimited energy, consistent physical health, and constant productivity, many women are actually managing chronic pain, fatigue, back and forth medical appointments, just for ourselves, not for our children or husbands or spouses or partners. And these symptoms that we're dealing with do not have an off switch. That changes everything about how businesses must be built. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I have kind of come up to this realization, and that I know this reality intimately and quite personally. Over the years, I've navigated stage 4 endometriosis, multiple surgeries for it, adenomyosis, fibroids, and eventually diagnosed with brain tumor and a brain surgery, all while I'm trying to show up professionally, trying to keep pace, trying to prove that I could perform at that same level that everyone expected, because I don't look like what I've been through. But all the while, my body was sending signals, clear signals. There was a time that I was not feeling well. I was working 90 hours a week. And one morning I woke up and kind of felt a little off and said, you know what? I'm just going to get dressed and go to work. And then I started having chest pains and I drove myself to the ER. Now, while I'm at the ER, I decided to take a call, which was an interview call, while I'm sitting in the ER room with leads on my chest on my computer, calling and having a conversation with this potential job and potential job opportunity. What? My body was sending me signals at that moment. Like, woman, what are you doing? You're in the ER having chest pains on a phone call trying to have a job interview. That's insanity. But I know probably there's more of us that may engage in these types of behaviors than we really want to admit. But, you know, like many of us high achieving women, we keep overriding those signals because success culture teaches us that the answer is always the same. Push harder, do more, keep going until eventually something forces you to stop. And in my case, it was a bit of a glimmer for me to be like, Natalie, what are you doing? You're in a hospital room in the ED trying to conduct business. It doesn't make any sense. But that was part of my reality and a little bit of part of that first wake up call for me. So where does that leave us? What I eventually realized is that entrepreneurs with chronic illness, stress, burnout are paying a tax that no one really talks about. I call it the invisible energy tax. Before the workday even begins, significant energy has already been spent. Managing physical symptoms, navigating fatigue, processing the emotional impact of illness, laying in bed, waking up and saying, how can I start this day? How am I going to do it? We're managing appointments and we're managing recovery, or some of us don't have recovery. So we are dealing with uncertainty. And then on top of it all, we still have the demands of our life and our business, our clients, making revenue. How are we trying to build and grow our business? And of course, deadlines. So you essentially are starting each day with less available energy than the system assumes you have. And that reality requires a different approach. Many of us become experts at what I call looking functional. You know, the whole, I don't look like what I've been through. You know what I mean? We show up at meetings, we respond to emails, and we deliver our results day after day, day in and day out. Meanwhile, your body is quietly saying, ma'am, hello, we need to have a conversation. But success culture trains us to override those signals. So instead of listening, we double down and we just keep going until it's time for our bodies to shut down. And those are things that we really need to think about. I know there was that article in the news a couple months ago, late last year. There was a young woman who was running her business, going, had family responsibilities, had her business responsibilities. And I don't quite remember her name, but she said she was tired and she was exhausted and she laid down and she never got back up. And it's those types of moments that I really want to elevate to you all that are on this summit. That is a real thing. We really need to heed what our body is telling us. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I had to go to the hospital for a botched hysterectomy, side effects results that unfortunately I'm still dealing with. And I knew I had gone out, went to something with my galentines, hung out with some of my girlfriends and my sorority sisters. And I had brunch the next morning and I woke up feeling kind of off, but my body was telling me something was wrong. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go to brunch and hang out with the girls. My body was like, have several seats. And I laid in bed, had some other obligations that I needed to tend to, but my body said to shut down. And I really listened. But I also knew when I did get up that my body was like, something is awry. And I packed my bag. And in the spirit of us going, I had a presentation that I had to record. Got up the next morning, recorded it at 8 o'clock. I had my bag already packed and drove myself to the emergency room. Subsequently, I was admitted to the hospital for 8 days for something that I'm dealing with and have been dealing with for quite a few years. And I just have to implore you to listen to your body, because I know my doctors were like, had I waited and not listened to what my body was saying, I would not be here talking to you today, because of the signals and what the severity of my illness was. So I'm imploring you to listen to yourself and not to what society says we should show up for. So very important. So that brings us to the overcompensation culture. When your illness is invisible, the pressure to perform becomes even stronger. Because if no one can see the struggle, you feel compelled to prove that you are fine over and over again. That leads to something I call overcompensation culture. We overwork, we overperform, and we overprove. And as Black women, that's just something that is part of our DNA, whether we like it or not, that we seem to always subscribe to. We're taking on more than our capacity allows, and just to maintain our credibility, because we don't want people to take pity on us. We don't want to be seen as weak, even though we have the strong Black woman myth and we always have our capes on. And it's time that we need to pause and take those capes off to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. But what our body is slowly and quietly telling us is that certain activities just don't show up the same, because we're draining ourselves or draining the energy that we need just to sustain ourselves to continue the work that we're doing. And it's insanity. And we need to really take stock of what that looks like and what that real cost is. Overcompensation doesn't protect your business. It slowly dismantles it, along with your health. The costs can show up as burnout, irritability, you snap, you're just walking around in a daze, health crashes that force you to stop unexpectedly. Business instability, it really presents itself when our body cannot keep up with our workload. And perhaps most painful of all, our identity loss, because we don't know who we are. We don't know how we're supposed to show up when our health and our work feel unstable. It shakes our sense to our core of who exactly are we? Who are we showing up as? Who is everybody expecting us to show up as? And it can take over, unfortunately. And we need to recognize these costs is the first step toward building differently the way we set our businesses up and the way we execute and live within them. So that may call for a new model. This is where a new model truly becomes necessary. What I like to call capacity-based leadership. Instead of asking, how much can I push through? You begin asking a different question. What does my business look like when it's built for the body I actually have? The shift isn't limitation. It's intelligent design. The most sustainable businesses are not built on hustle. They are built on strategy that honors the whole person behind the work. And how do we show up and what our capabilities are. So that brings us to the oxygen mask framework. It's like we're all on a plane and we all know how that goes. In the event of loss of cabin pressure, the masks will fall from the ceiling and we're told to secure our oxygen mask first before helping others. Because think about that. If I'm trying to put my oxygen mask on my loved one and I'm losing oxygen while I'm putting it on them, I can pass out and not be able to continue that process with them. And then both of us are out of luck. And that is something that not only is applicable in the airplane, but is applicable to all aspects of our life. It's applicable to our leadership positions and in the space of entrepreneurship. And this framework has 3 stages: breathe, balance, and bloom. Each stage moves you from survival mode towards sustainable growth, which is something that we need to keep in the back of our mind. So breath or breathe is a first step. Before strategy, before systems, before scaling, you have to pause your survival mode because you cannot operate from an empty cup. We all know that. Many entrepreneurs with chronic illness are operating in a constant state of low-grade stress. Or a lot of us are stressed out and we don't even realize it. We're operating in a space of mental health challenges, depression, and panic attacks, and we don't acknowledge that because we don't want to talk about it. It's taboo. We kind of associate that with, you know, Uncle Mushi over there who gets the SSI check, but we don't talk about it. Or we go to church and pray about it and not necessarily address the situation at hand of all the things that are coming together causing us to be in this state. We're running on adrenaline. We're running on willpower. Breath is about creating enough space to reconnect with your nervous system and to understand your energy patterns because your nervous system is talking to you so that you're able to notice the signals your body is sending before a crash occurs, because awareness is the foundation of sustainable success. So that brings us to a tool as far as pausing for an energy audit. And it's something that I really like to elevate to individuals and to women to really think about. How do we track our energy, our productivity? And where is your energy actually going during the day? Is it scrolling? Are we on the phone? Is it on Facebook or what have you? And it typically falls into 4 areas: our business responsibilities, health and recovery, family and relationships, and emotional labor. And these are going on in the background, same time, concurrently, in succession. And seeing your energy clearly allows you to make more intentional decisions about how you design your work. It's very important that we embrace that and take note of what that looks like. Then there's balance. In this second stage, we really look at how do we redesign our business around our actual and real capacity. Balance doesn't mean doing less. It means doing the right things in the right way. Using tools like automation, batching tasks, scheduling your work according to your natural energy rhythms. I'm a night owl. I like to do stuff late at night, sometimes into the wee morning, which isn't always great. But it's so that your business supports your life instead of consuming it, and that you run your business and your business does not run you. So that brings us to some other areas that we need to think about. When you begin designing from capacity, something powerful happens. You start building leverage. Leverage allows your income and impact to grow without requiring constant physical output. That passive income, which AI is great for, things can run in the background. Some examples, of course, are digital products, speaking, licensing your intellectual property out, and community-based business models where there's a group approach. These structures truly create sustainability because they allow your work to continue even on difficult days when you know that your body just can't do it. And it's so important to really employ these opportunities. And then the third stage is bloom. Bloom is where everything comes together. You've learned to breathe, you've redesigned for balance, and now you build for the long game. A business ecosystem that grows with you rather than at your expense. This is what sacred, sustainable success looks like. And that time is sacred. And you really need to be mindful of protecting that piece, protecting that arena of what that looks like, so you're not just hustling. Because who wants to keep doing that? I'm about that soft life at this point. So it's something I really want to make sure that I'm embracing. So one of the most important mindset shifts in this journey, I would say, is understanding this. Your body is not the enemy, even though a lot of times we feel like it has betrayed us. Your body is information. Every symptom, every flare, every headache, every moment of fatigue, that's data. Data about what needs to change, what you need to pay attention to. what needs rest, what needs release. And when you stop fighting your body and start listening to it, you become a wiser and more strategic entrepreneur. It's something that we really sometimes need to pause and encourage ourselves and others to take notice of. And it allows us to reframe success. The old model of success has told us one thing: keep pushing harder, keep working more, don't take that vacation. Prove your worth through output as if that's the only way you can have validation, and then sacrifice your health for hustle. Who does that? Who wants to do that, whether we like it or not? It's not the optimal way that we can perform, embrace our business, grow, and live our lives. But that model was never truly designed for the realities many women are living. The new model asks a different kind of question. Not how much I can endure, but how intelligently can I design what my work life can look like? Success becomes something we build sustainably, not something that we survive. Lord knows that we all have been in survival mode, probably way too long than we'd like to admit. So let me leave you with a reflection. What would your business look like if it fully honored your body? Not what you've been told success should look like, but what it would actually feel like to build a business where your health is not a liability. You work within the parameters of what's available to you. It's a source of wisdom. What would you stop doing? What would you start? What might finally feel like enough, and that you feel like enough? Something to really think about. So in this conversation, if this conversation has resonated with you, I want you to know that you don't have to navigate this alone. I created a community called the Oxygen Lounge, and it's something that I have had to embrace, but and listen to my own secure your oxygen mask advice. I had anticipated launching it at the end of February, but my body had other ideas. I was hospitalized, so I didn't get to do it. So it'll be launching this month. And it's a community and a space for women who are redefining success from the inside out. We explore nervous system regulation, capacity-based entrepreneurship, and sustainable leadership, and holding a space where we feel seen and heard. It's a supportive environment where I'm really embracing women who are building meaningful work while honoring our health and humanity. So very important. If this conversation resonated with you, I created something to help you begin putting these ideas into practice. But before I go into that, I really want to leave you with this. Success should not cost you your health. It's so important. It is imperative that we truly understand that when we reach these levels of success, if we're looking to attain what that looks like, I really want you to think about, how can I recreate my life to adjust what it is that I need? And that I really want to make sure I leave you with this. You are not too sick to succeed. You are not too tired to build something meaningful. You are not behind. You're a woman doing extraordinary things under extraordinary circumstances. And the world needs what you are building. But you deserve to build it without abandoning yourself in the process. I want you to secure your oxygen mask first. On the next page, on the next slide, I have created something for you that is a oxygen mask first, the reset guide. It's a simple but powerful reflection journal designed specifically for high achieving women who are carrying a lot, and often we're doing it quietly. Inside, you'll find a nervous system reset exercise, an energy awareness reflection, and a capacity-based reset for your work and life situation to create that work-life balance. Thousands of women are building businesses while navigating invisible illness. This guide was created for you. You can download it using the link or the QR code on the screen on the next slide. And I invite you to really embrace that and really take stock of what you can become when you listen to your body in the state that it needs to be listened to. I want to thank you for your time. I want to encourage you to secure your oxygen mask first. Everything else becomes possible from there when you start. On the slide, I want to thank you again. My information is there. Let's connect. On my website, everything is natalieasolomon.com. My IG is at Natalie A. Solomon. My LinkedIn, Natalie A. Solomon. And my email information is info@natalieasolomon.com. Scan the QR code. Let me know how, that's my information. Reach out. I look forward to connecting with you. And I really just want to say thank you again for the time that you have spent with me. Thank you for the organizers. Thank you, Natalia, for reaching out and creating this platform for all of us to really lift each other up and really build this community and embrace one another, that we can create a space to feel seen and heard. Thank you so much for your time. And secure your oxygen mask first. Take care.